This conference will now be recorded.
I waited until Michelle came before I mean, what was the point?
Post the link on the, because
You just muted yourself somehow.
lots of people have been slacking you. We were waiting on LinkedIn for you. And we were trying to get the link to here. And so I finally dug through the chat history and found it.
Well, you're welcome.
Let me chat. Let me Slack people.
Like 3. Thanks, Corey, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
Did someone tell Joe to come on?
I found it right after I posted that, but Rick's waiting on LinkedIn, and so is Andre. All of you guys missed some really high quality entertainment last night by not coming to my happy hour.
So Michelle and I co-hosted. Oh, is that the future Mrs. Corey Wilson?
Yeah, that was Julie.
Julie.
Well, I'll have her stop and wave and say hello when she walks by here again.
I've gotten the message that if you have a member of the family in the house, that we expect them to stop by and say hello.
Stop by and say hello. I didn't read that in the Slack.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's the bylaws.
The bylaws. There we go.
Oh, that, you know what? I don't even have to say if. Everyone should have everyone in their family home.
Right.
Exactly.
So
No,
maybe
not for essential businesses. Count's making reagents for cancer diagnostic tests. So I think I want my cancer test as badly as I want my COVID test.
And Mr. America is in his office.
Oh, look at that.
You're supposed to be quarantined.
No, we're not. We're an essential medical device company. So
Are you saying that, or
No,
or
that's
are
the
you?
thing.
we were declared by the governor. I have a letter from the governor. We're operating.
I think that's like LinkedIn share worthy. I'm an essential
Really
business.
impact the entire supply chain for all medical devices for like wide impact.
Hi, Julie. Everyone stop. Hi, Julie. She can hear us.
Everybody, we're social distancing.
Yeah, that's right.
Can she hear us?
No.
Let her hear us. Julie.
Welcome.
You
Welcome.
have to give us
Hi,
one-
Julie.
Hello.
Welcome
reason-
to the
Julie.
If you had to give us one reason only why you plan to marry Corey, what would that be?
Only why I would want to marry
Only
Corey.
one reason why you would marry him.
He's awesome.
Okay, can you be any more specific?
He always makes me smile.
Oh, would you kiss him for me right now?
Marriage. TMI.
Oh, that's what we love.
Yes.
Love survives coronavirus.
Definitely. Well, y'all be safe out there, and nice to see everybody.
You said y'all. We love you
Okay.
already.
Take it easy. I just put a console.
I don't know if it was purposeful programming or just accidental, but here in the UK last night, the movie Contagion was broadcast.
Oh my jeez.
I'm sure it was not.
Tomorrow night will be Outbreak.
Everyone's like,
Yeah,
we want to
exactly.
see this 1991 film of science fiction.
Yes, I totally understand. Hi.
Sarah McGregor, we can neither see nor hear you.
I'm working on my Year 3
And
show.
that might have been the way your mother wanted you, but we
Put in
want.
my 5 calls for today already. Are you putting in 5 calls a day?
Who's saying 5 calls a day?
Somebody's putting in 5
Oh.
calls a day.
Yeah, that's background noise here.
Oh man, just as we fell for her, and she disrupted our call. Yeah, we were. Michelle hosted. I kind of co-hosted a happy hour yesterday, and we got hacked.
Really?
Somebody hacked into our call and started giving us some entertainment from the company. What was it? Pornhub? Pornhub.
Oh,
This is no joke. And I told
my
my
God.
wife this, and she not only laughed, but then I went upstairs to change, and I heard her laughing some more and some more. And I said, still? And she said, yeah. And I said, because of what happened? She said, no, because of what you said. What I said was, and I'm among the 75% of men who have visited that site in the past. And I had my hand on my mouse. And when that happened, I said, holy shit, what did I just do? I thought that somehow, some way, some browser, some cache, something, I just projected porn to the medical
You have a
device
direct connection.
community.
Now, Joe, when you say you had your hand on your mouse, is that a euphemism?
It was this mouse. And
Geez.
Oh.
I'll have you know that I don't call anything on my body a mouse. We don't need to get into it, but let's just say that I have insecurities, and that, Edward, is not one of them. This is recorded for all time, so
Okay,
any of
Joe.
you out there who might be interested, let me know.
And Larry, you'll appreciate this. We were sharing what's the strangest thing you've ever been asked for from the FDA. And because it was, all my RAQA friends, and one of them had been doing a personal lubricant 510K. And the reviewer, they got a additional information request back from the reviewer to see, does the device have any hardware, firmware, or software?
A lubricant. Yeah.
Depends who
And
uses
then
it.
shortly thereafter, we were entertained. So I don't know if like somebody was like listening to our conversation, and the next thing.
I thought the FDA was going to request a sample of it then.
They need to, anyway.
That's like when I worked in the planning department of a hospital up outside Detroit, and we put in a certificate of need for replacing our software for human resources. In the comments, we mentioned something about disposing of the old system. So some bureaucrat in Lansing saw the word dispose and asked us for an environmental impact statement on the impact of disposing of software.
Unbelievable.
I'm gonna have to ask Andre if he can straighten that picture over his shoulder. That's gonna make me crazy, or turn this video off.
There's a
Which
better.
one?
It's better, it's not right. There you go.
Okay, well, if we're doing that, I have to ask Andre, could you have your tie underneath your, just could you do this? Because I hate when you can see the side of a tie.
How's my hair?
It's good, but the
Your
other
hair is
thing, if
perfect.
you have a change of your shirt, if you could change your shirt, because that green does not go with your jacket or tie.
It happens to be beige, by the way, so
Okay,
You
well,
need to-
that doesn't
you
go
need to
either.
adjust the chroma on your monitor.
Now that we're getting all rather, I think we're gonna start really noticing these things a little bit. So we're a family, if you have something that you need to kind of let someone in the family know. I'm checking everybody else out. I don't really have anything except Alan, I don't expect now with you not going out of the house, you're gonna get better lighting. You're always like backlit or something.
There's two problems. The Amazon order got delayed. There will be a light here soon.
Hey,
And my lighting above me, two of the bulbs went out, and they're not maintaining the building currently, so they haven't replaced them. I'd probably be better lit.
Do you have a flashlight, Alan?
use your
Or
phone.
just swap the bulbs. Take the bulbs out of the one by the door, and put those working.
That's
Yeah,
better.
or that works
I
too.
know it's so eerie, but it's better, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, it looks like I'm telling campfire stories now.
The spotlight.
Anne, who is my virtual assistant, who I recommend to anyone who needs one, asked me, so who's the speaker this week? And I was like, you know what, I completely forgot about it. And we're just going to probably talk about COVID the whole time anyhow. So here we are, and that's the topic.
But here's my first contribution in the chats. If you haven't seen it in a while, it makes for very good viewing. Tom Lair, I got it from Agnes.
Yeah, I saw that. If you have the link, share it and go just for fun.
It's in the chat thing. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but
Well,
it'll disappear.
Also put it in our weekly call, pardon me,
Right.
in just for fun, because that's where more people will find it. in the GoToMeeting chat, did I do it properly? I created an entirely new workspace for COVID-19. And that's going to be free, and I'm going to share it widely on Tuesday. For people who just need to keep in touch or such. The aftermath of Tuesday has been so overwhelming for me that I've kind of hired Sarah and will pay her nothing. And Karen Eason is in Philly, and she's joined too, also at the same rate of pay, to help bring process and logic around what is still north of 100 unread messages that I've not been able to process. I've just been, because the feedback of just send me an email is an open field. So it's not like checkbox, and I can just line them up, which is what Karen's going to help me with. But it's just too much for me without my AI on to process what everybody is saying, wanting, asking, offering, and figuring out how to. So the call on Tuesday was a brainstorm, indulge me on Sunday. Monday I spent creating art and promoting. Tuesday happened first thing in the morning, and I've been recovering ever since. So that's kind of the state of things. John Tugwell, ladies and gentlemen, put on your microphone so we can hear that charming accent of yours.
I don't have an accent. It's just everybody else.
Right. Michael, hello.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Mike.
How are you?
So I think Corey asked me if I knew anyone personally with the virus. Do any of you? Ready for show of hands? Oh, who?
One of my subcontractors got it. She hasn't been tested, but she knows her daughter who was in school, like in college, and then they canceled her college because a couple of the students had it. And then as soon as her daughter got home with all of her stuff, like a week later, my friend has got 100-degree fever.
And Glenn?
Yeah, we have two people from our Bible study. One of the gentlemen and his daughter, they've not been officially diagnosed, but they have all the symptoms. And then another family, their daughter also an adult daughter has that. So that's
Where is that?
we've gotten. I'm sorry?
Where are you? Where is that?
Atlanta.
Well, I'm at one of the epicenters, and mercifully, I don't know anyone personally, but last I looked, and this was like a week ago, that Life Care Center that was the kickoff lost 35 residents.
Oh, please.
And
Yeah.
the gal that I had on the call on Tuesday, Jessica, I don't know if it's changed, but she's lost 2 in her facility. So we topped 1,000 deaths in the US yesterday, and unemployment came in at 3.2 million, which is 4.25 times more than the previous record when we had the financial meltdown due to mortgage packages.
Yeah, there's an interesting cover on the New York Times. It shows the unemployment rate by week or something like this, and it's goes across the bottom of the front page, and then all inside there's a spike because it's all in real scale, and I mean it's just like 50 times more than the last week or whatever it is. Crazy.
Then it was 33.28, something like that. And I posted on LinkedIn. I don't know if it got any response because it was late in the day. I wrote, hey guys, did you see the 3-day rally on Wall Street with that picture and the hashtag cognitive dissonance? I should have also put hashtag bear market rally. I don't know about you guys, but we sold some this week into the rally. Yes, what was it,
We
Wednesday?
bought stock in Zoom and in Fry's and I can't want one other thing.
This week was the first time that Beth actually had a number assigned to how much we've lost. And let's see, there was, Lucas was born, he came out so quick that we had no time for an epidural. And this were the 2 times that I've seen the most pain on my wife's face. That was a bit metaphorical, but let's just say that the blood ran out of her cheeks. Ken, hello. Can't hear you. You're on.
Yes. Now you can hear me.
I'm thinking of having a coronavirus beard. Anyone else? Well, Mike, you already got us. Anyone else planning on, maybe Corey, you got us. Maybe not shaving until we can get out of the house.
I was actually thinking of doing all these sorts of video chats in black tie. Really go the other direction.
Jimmy Kimmel was suggesting that we have formal Fridays where people actually get ready to go out and put on a nice something. You know, as a marketer, I will offer to the majority of you who are camera shy, maybe not here, which I appreciate, but are not about to make videos about your business. Everyone is making videos from home with their cell phones now.
Yeah.
All the late night hosts are, you know, Colbert did a bit in his bathtub this week. And they're doing like split screen Skype, and they're broadcasting it to millions and millions. I think it's reframing the way we think about, I think it will have a long-term impact on the way we think about video. And I'm actually, like today, I had a hard time waking, but I typically shave for you on Friday mornings, but I chose not to today. And I'm wondering, you know, maybe I'm going to kind of descend into, Michelle knows this, the bathrobe LinkedIn lives, because it's like we're all just trying to get by. And
No, I've been proud that you like are dressing and showering.
I'm going to. I promised Beth I would shower every day, and she gave me 1 day off a week.
I still put on my makeup because I've been self-quarantining for like 6 or 7 years now. I mean, this is my lifestyle. But normally
you can get out of the house. This is different when you're not allowed out. I tried to float a trial balloon 2 days ago with my family and saying, I'm going out on Saturday. And Beth was like, what? And I said, I'm going to go to one person's house and play Scrabble. That's it. And she said, Joey, it's a lockdown. And I said, yeah, but I know that we're okay because we haven't left the house. And if they haven't left their house, I mean, I already walk the dog. If I walk the dog and knock on a door and go in to a safe house and play Scrabble, that's okay, right? She said, Joey, I don't like this. I was like, I won't do it if you, yeah, no, don't. I'm like, okay. Yesterday, it so happens that my wife has been helping someone with an estate sale. And the last item was this big plant that was sitting in our front yard. Yesterday, the person came to get it. It just so happened that the person was a nurse from UW. She showed up with gloves for us to put on, and we took all the, she stayed 6 feet away, opened the door, we walked, you know, then we put it in, this kind of thing. And when I learned what her profession was, I said, hey, if you don't mind, let me run inside and take a video of you. And I got 9 minutes and 57 seconds worth because I had to shut it off because LinkedIn shuts off at 10 minutes, I think. And I'm waiting for her to get approval from UW because they don't like them to But I asked her about my Scrabble game and she went like this. And, you know, back when this started, I was like, you know, yeah, Luke can, you know, take the car and go to Target. It's not that big a deal. It's not like, now it's like just complete shutdown. And I've never seen a worldwide economy shut down before, but that doesn't make me want to invest. And while there will be pockets of, hey, I happen to own stock in a glove manufacturer, ooh, I've already lost a college education's worth of money in the market in the last month. I'm good for now.
Mhm.
Well, I decided to not brush my hair today, but nobody noticed.
I know.
I haven't shaven in 10 days, but nobody noticed.
I did notice. In fact, it was your face that led me to I'm thinking of growing a beard for the whole thing.
I actually uploaded a video yesterday to LinkedIn asking people what do they think the dress code was for these kind of video conferences. I don't know about your businesses, but me, Joe, you know, we've been managing our businesses remotely mainly, so having virtual teams, etc. But I guess that for many people who are used to coming into an office, it's suddenly a totally different ball game. Like even having a discipline of working out of home, it's a completely different experience. And
Mhm.
I hadn't
people who
considered the completely different experience because for as long as I've had a laptop, I've taken my laptop home from work and worked when I got home. I mean, it's never been 9 to 5. So
yeah.
the idea of, okay, I'm home now and I'm working was not a shock to me when I started on my own. But I hadn't considered that I guess it is for some people. And they're like, I don't
It
even know where
is.
to sit in the house because the kids are right behind me and I live in a 1-bedroom and I have a child. So what do I do?
It's a completely different experience, you know, even if you go 10 hours a day into the office and meet people and have chats around the coffee machine, etc., and go for lunch breaks, and suddenly you're being told, well, just don't come in. It's different, you know. I know of people who are having a really hard time, even if they were not laid off or, you know, like, or their job reduced by 50% in terms of volume. So it is a different experience. But I think, sorry, but for most cases, I see that people just dress normally, just like, you know, whatever we have on the house, we just put on and that's fine.
Well, I'm waiting to see what happens if this goes on for several weeks with, I guess you could call it COVID hairstyles, because, you know, I don't know how to cut my own hair. And, you know, hopefully this won't last that long. But I mean, it's obviously a trivial and minor thing, but that is a factor of sorts.
I thought that this was an amazing, I marvel at highly, highly intelligent political comedy, political editorial. And this one really, really got me. And made me think of sharing this with you now is when Ken said that commutes are down by like 50%, there was an aerial shot of the amount of carbon monoxide being released into the air from China, like before and after, and it was like this yellow, and then it was clear, and it was a very potent video on CNN that I caught yesterday and plan to share. 3 minutes long, and it was from someone who's been kind of shaking us about climate change is real, and actually I also remember having seen that climate change became a euphemism from proponents of don't worry about it, from the more harmful global warming term that, you know, was upsetting people. So climate change is like, yeah, climate change.
We call it climate emergency now, I think, because the previous terms were a little bit too weak.
Right. Well, he's saying, you know, look, everyone look at the difference it made for countries that jumped on it right away versus those who waited a couple of weeks. And
Yeah.
this is a direct parallel to what this climate change phenomenon will be. And right now we're all just kind of like, what is it, getting warmer by a degree? I mean, okay. He said we can change science now and do something, but we collectively are just like, let's just deal with the virus and let's just deal with things that I know how to deal with. It's only when Manhattan goes under and Florida disappears that we're like, oh shit, we got to do something. And it's going to cost trillions and trillions more to relocate an entire state's population than it will to change our coal consumption. But will we listen?
Well, the other thing I think about is the risk and concern that if the the sky is clear for a little bit, for a couple of days, and the water clears like that image in Venice, and people can actually see fish again, that the climate deniers will say, oh, look, see, we can, we could just have a 2-week shutdown of the planet and solve all the things. And then a bit like, people who go to the gym and then reward themselves with, 7 cookies, you'll end up making the problem even that much worse.
I said to Beth yesterday, it was late night when I finally walked Elliot, which is a new thing. It's my exercise. And it was cold out last night and I didn't want to do it. And I said, I did not enjoy that walk. And she said, why? I said, because it's cold and it's dark and I didn't want to go out. And I said, if I just said, I'll walk him tomorrow, then tomorrow I'm going to be like, I can walk him tomorrow. And then it's just going to be like, So does anyone want to lead a conversation about anything medical device related?
Well, I've got something.
Okay, let's hear it.
Just today here in the UK, I'll put it into the chat thing.
Or if you want to share a screen, you can let me know.
So I'll figure out a way to send this around, but I got an email from a colleague of mine about MDR here in Europe. I don't know if anybody else is hearing this, but rumor has it, quite strong rumor has it today that it's going to be delayed by at least a year.
Michelle, did you call that?
What?
I say, did you call that? Yesterday you said plus 365. Had you heard that or was that your speculation?
Oh, no, in their announcement earlier this week or last week, I've lost track now, they they said that the proposal would be to extend it for a year. But the proposal is just a proposal and it's not done and it won't be submitted until probably the first week of April. And then it has to go to Parliament and then Parliament has to approve it, but none of them are working. And so, I mean, there's this whole process it's still going to have to go through.
Who is Parliament in this case?
Well, the
European Parliament.
European Parliament.
Of which the UK is not a member?
No.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Right. So MDR regulation is outside the purview of UK input?
Yep.
Well, the UK, if you want to sell anything into Europe, you have to comply with MDR.
Yeah, true.
Right, but is the UK Europe?
No. Have you been following along with this whole Brexit thing?
Yes, I have.
That's as real as MDR, and people didn't think that it was going to happen. And apparently, they still don't know that it actually happened.
Well, I mean, if you look at if you look at a map, the UK is part of Europe.
Not
So-
part of the European
It is
Union.
geographically a part of Europe. It is not legally a part of Europe. And it's up to the UK now to they have to choose if they're going to recognize MDR or not, and to what level. What parts are they going to keep? Are they going to recognize US regulations instead? It's a mess.
Well, I mean, again, yes, that's technically correct, but they already took the decision in the UK to stay as part of the European patent conference. So, you know, from an IP perspective, we haven't left Europe in that respect. I would think that they will probably follow along with MDR, because an awful lot has gone into that in the run-up.
From a biscuit perspective, this is
We're not
from
leaving Europe.
it was left
We're
in my
leaving the
room
EU.
when we were staying there off Green Park. So we brought them home.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
but I think everybody's going to get, nobody knows. First off, it is just a proposal. There's still a lot of legislation that has to happen to make it real. By the time it's done, you might be, you know, within 30 days or less of the implementation date, where class 1 devices should already be nearly compliant, if not compliant already, because European authorized representatives have been asking for documentation of compliance for at least a month now already, in advance of the May 26th deadline. So we don't know if they're going to keep the May 26th implementation date for class 1 devices. We don't know how the designation situation is going to work out with the notified bodies. There's still just a lot. It's not going to be the boom to industry that everybody's all excited about right now.
But aren't there only about 3 notified bodies have actually, completed compliance with MDR?
12.
Oh, 12 of them. I'd heard there were only 3, but.
How many notified bodies are there in total?
There used to be 70. I think they're down to less than 40 now. And only 12 of those right now have got the ability to do both MDD and MDR.
But theoretically, ironically, this pandemic has brought a year's worth of employment to potentially 28 notified bodies who were looking to be out of business in 2 months.
That's got, all those provisions have to be wrapped up in this bill. It's not just as simple as writing a piece of legislation that says, okay, we're just going to push MDR back. They have to write in how all that stuff is going to work in the meantime.
But wasn't there also some sort of, I mean, I think just take B. Braun or something like that, and what proportion of their products had actually, gone through the MDR recertification process? There was some 25% or something like that. So to be able to get all of those products, recertified in the time was, just an impractical thing. I think a lot of people perceived that they were looking for some excuse to at least delay it by, 3 or 6 months. And now with this, I think they've sort of.
I saw a great post on LinkedIn that, and this was well in advance of them making this proposal, but it was like, maybe the European Parliament and Commission won't let a good crisis go to waste with COVID, and they'll delay MDR because as recently as the second week of March, they were still putting out guidance documentation and clarifying expectations, implementing acts. They were not backing off. And then, when it really blew up here in the US and it started blowing up outside of Italy, then it was kind of like, it's a way that they can still save face.
Yeah.
About what a mess MDR is and how unready they are for their role in MDR.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the many governments are exploiting certain situations, but can I ask something else? You know, I don't know how active you are on LinkedIn and social media and etc. But the entire feed is basically everything to do with, you know, coronavirus, COVID-19, etc. I had no idea I'm connected to so many people who know how to sell face masks. But do you still post things that are not related to this pandemic? You know, how you can help, who you can connect, how many ventilators there are, like what is the ratio of deaths per elderly population, different stats. I mean, this is the only thing I see. You know, what do you think about it? I mean, I almost feel guilty for posting other things.
I've got a ton of content that's not related to COVID. I have a lot that
Yeah.
is, but I still posted a picture of my dog's butt yesterday.
Yeah.
You should look at it.
Thank God.
I will. I think we're connected. Yeah, I will.
Hey, Michelle.
Mhm.
So BSI UK is still listed. How much longer is that going to stay
Well, now maybe a year.
during the transition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's like kind of literally the elephant in the room because of how big BSI is what are they going to do with BSI UK? And
Right.
literally every person, which, I mean, they're one of the largest notified bodies. There's a little 4-digit number or 3-digit number on the bottom, like next to the CE mark, that means BSI UK. And everybody, every single outer package label, inner package label, instructions for use, any marketing material that bears a CE mark, websites, every piece of labeling, that number has got to change. It's a logistical nightmare just to update labeling, much less the actual technical documentation.
Hey, Michelle, we actually did that. 2 of our clients, they transferred to BSI in the Netherlands. And so we had to transfer all the documentation throughout all the DMRs. All the DMRs had to change, all the labeling, the procedures, everything changed with the new Netherlands address.
Mm-hmm. And how many
Hey guys, are any of you working?
Family?
Say it again.
How many individual product codes were in that
Are
family?
any of the ventilator manufacturers
7
right now?
SKUs in there.
How many?
7 SKUs.
So at 7 times, how many labels per?
There's probably a dozen labels if you count, you know, flyers and things like that. So, you know, it took us a while, but we did it. You know, 7 wasn't that bad to do. But it's a lot of documentation then. I mean, we had to change, all the DMRs have to change.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, question for you guys. Are any of you working with ventilator manufacturers right now? I guess not.
I'm working on a product that.
So one of our partners is a.
We don't hear you.
Sorry, go ahead.
Mike, you have the floor.
I don't hear him.
Okay, I thought Michelle said she's working on a product. I didn't hear the rest.
Well,
For
you're
some
kind
reason,
of in and out.
Mike's voice comes after his video. We're going to blame it on Oklahoma.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes. You were asking us if we have any connections to
So
ventilator
one of our
manufacturing
partners is a
companies.
certified lab for ventilator manufacturers. I should probably use the.
Not working, Mike.
I'll tell you what, Mike, we're going to make a special exception. No one is going to speak for the next 30 seconds, and then the floor is yours.
Okay, I guess there's a delay. One of our partners is a certified lab for ventilator manufacturers. They're working with one of the biggest ones right now, and they're able to accelerate the process. That's one of the limiting factors. So I'm going to reach out to other ventilator manufacturers that need help through the ISO 18562 is the testing for ventilators for biocompatibility. So if any of you have connections and want to help get ventilators to market faster, that's something we're focused on.
Mike, I might suggest either for the balance of this call or for future calls that we see you, that's great, but that you use a telephone for the audio part. Sarah is on my team. If she could unmute herself. She is helping lead the MDG coronavirus task force, which I just came up with. You can put that on your resume. Because I've got so much feedback. Hey, John, to help just make some order of all the inputs that we're getting. So, Sarah, may I ask you to follow up directly with Mike to capture what it is that he has to offer?
Hey, I'm on the phone now. Can you guys hear me better with the phone?
Yes.
Excellent. Sorry about that. I guess there's just quite a delay or was garbled. One of our partners is a certified lab for ISO 18562, and they're working with one of the biggest ventilator manufacturers to get their ventilators to market faster. And they have bandwidth to help other ventilator manufacturers. So I'll be reaching out to some of the other ventilator manufacturers at ResMed and BD and Medtronic and others. But if any of you have connections in that industry, we can help accelerate the testing. As you might know, it requires a third party to do that testing, the independent lab. So that's part of the bottleneck to get ventilators to market quickly. So I just wanted to share that with you.
I haven't reached out to him yet. It's not like I have a direct line to his CEO office, but I am friendly with Mick Farrell of ResMed. So if we collectively as a group have something highly intelligent and helpful to offer him, I can send him a note on that and perhaps get through.
Yeah, absolutely. He was actually top of my list. I was about ready to send him a note, but if you know him, that would be helpful. All we have to do is set up a call to introduce him to the labs. It's called PSN Labs out of Erie, Pennsylvania, and they're an outstanding company, one of the best in the country in terms of testing labs.
He was my keynote speaker 3 years ago.
Ah, very good, very good.
Hey, Jan Gates. Oh.
Hi, just got up.
Well, welcome to the morning. Michelle, I asked you a question yesterday and you said, oh, ask Jan Gates. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, somebody had messaged you on MDG and
right.
if you knew anybody that could do stress testing and
Right. Jan, in what do you need in Premium? Harisa asked, I'm looking for a company in Irvine or San Diego that can help with stress testing for a Class 1 medical device. It is for a device that attaches to any syringe to improve ergonomics, load and environmental conditioning tests. We cannot see you if your intent is to be seen. Do you have any one that we can refer to her?
Yes, it depends on what kind of stress testing does she want, but there is a company in San Diego that does that kind of work. A lot.
I'm gonna write it down here for her
It's
too.
called Westpac. Their laboratories in San Jose does more with devices, but they can do something.
Okay. I wrote that note, but I tagged you in it, and perhaps you guys can continue the conversation there. And that, folks, is one of the reasons why we have our little group here. So we help each other.
Is anyone working on getting some COVID testing kits through the FDA?
me.
I need to talk to you. I have somebody who just put up, I think, $20 million for funding to support that type of effort. I'll reach out in a sec.
Okay.
Sarah, please be part of that conversation to capture this in our database. Jan, did you say Westpac in San Jose?
Yeah, they're in San Diego and San Jose.
Is
It's
it
West
WestPAK?
PACK.
Okay, thanks.
Trying to get my camera on, but it didn't want to go on.
Does anyone want to?
A lot of mask stuff right now too, in case anybody is trying to import masks.
Does anyone have another direction in which you'd like to take today's free-for-all?
I gotta go though.
Okay.
I'm gonna hop off. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Kevin, what's going on with you before you head out? You haven't said anything.
Yeah, sorry, I've been listening in, multitasking a bit. It's been quite busy for us as well here at Proxima. We've been managing a few of our clients' needs changing with regards to all of this, and we've had a few inbound requests too with manufacturers, masks, ventilators. We've been helping those folks as well. We're happy to help people as well, along with Michelle and others here. But I do have another call coming up at 11. I wanted to ask you, Joe, have you made a decision on 10X? Are you still evaluating?
Yeah, I have. It's postponed indefinitely.
Indefinitely, okay.
In fact, God bless him, one of my groomsmen got very high up in hospitality in another organization, and he coached me exactly what to do and say in my letter to the CEO of Hyatt International. And it worked to a degree that not only did I get out of the contract, not only did I not have to commit to another date, not only did I not get a cancellation fee, but they refunded me my entire $10,000 prepayment. It's as though it never happened.
Great. Good for you, man. I'm really glad to hear that.
You didn't get a discount on the next event?
That didn't happen, but I have no engagement with them at all now. And the next conference that I do will be handled by a woman named Beth Witzak, who I met through Joe Anderson, also a member of our group. When he does his IPX events, she runs them from a production standpoint with all of the arrangements. And he pays her nothing, I'll pay her nothing. Her pay comes from a percentage back from the organization that hosts us. In other words, free help. Okay, I'm in. And she's like rewritten her contracts to include Corona, everything, climate change, anything that could mess me up will be covered, I hope.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. See you guys.
Yeah, that's among the things I have to do is send out a note to everyone who registered, prepaid. I have to give them like services or refunds if I must. It's going to be a tough year for me because that's at least a third of my annual revenue. So, but you know what? It's not 100% of my revenue like tending bar, and I'm not going to lose my house over it. So, tough times, people.
Still looking forward to it whenever.
Whenever. Well, the whole point of a 10X is hugging people. I don't know if we can even have them in the future.
Yeah. We will. Just not tomorrow.
Anyone else something to contribute today, or we'll call it here? Sarah?
I misspelled Westpac, but I did put a link in the chat box with their phone number.
Where did you put it, love?
Chat box to everybody.
Oh, yes. Okay. I was asking. I'll go ahead and, yeah, it is with a K. Good. I put it in the thread in what you need
Okay.
with Parisa, but I'm copying and pasting your contribution here. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hey, Joe, I don't mind shamelessly promoting your web capabilities. If anybody's looking
That's my
to
purpose as well, have at
update
it.
their websites, just for fun, I got on the Wayback Machine and I went all the way back to 2010, looking at my most early efforts, which kind of looked like they were sent from, you know, some underground bunker. It was terrible. And they gradually got slightly better. And when the curve just took a climb, it was
We
about a
went
month or two ago.
coronavirus on you.
It was the coronavirus initial curve, baby. And you know, when I got this thing done, and I have been having people since I gave you the last report of what somebody said, every single person who has seen it has just thought it was a massive improvement over what I had. So I usually don't gush about things unless there's something to gush about, but it was nice. People actually enjoyed just getting on the site, taking a look at it, and it had nothing to do with my face being on it. It was just kind of a relief to get something that they like to see and that communicated to them so much better. So I'm kind of looking forward as things, you know, we get out of this, as things get going again, it's going to be a much better tool for me than any of the 4 or 5 sites I've created in the past. So shameless promotion, I'll do whenever there's something to shamelessly promote. So there you go.
Well, that's very generous. Thank you. It is important that we tell our stories as effectively as we can. I would love the end of the story to be, they love the site so much that they bought $1 million worth of my services. That's the kind of thing that we're looking for.
Well, I have only about 2 to 3 customers at a time. So my statistical database on that is, as you can imagine, very slow to build.
How many customers do you have right now?
2.
So there's a 4 or 3 that we can get in there?
Yes, I'm actually, if everybody that I'm talking to right now said yes, then I would have to bring 2 more mechanical designers into the projects.
So and who
So
are the mechanical designers that we have in our group? I know Alan is an electrical one. Mike, you must have mechanical folks if you still have your phone that we can hear you real time.
Yeah, plenty. We can scale up as much mechanical help as you need.
it's important to have. One thing I do not have, because he hired himself on as a regular employee somewhere, is I don't have a great electrical circuit board designer anymore.
Well, that would
who
be
I can
Alan.
bring in on projects.
That's
And,
Alan Cooper.
Alan Cooper?
Mm-hmm.
And I miss that. I mean, I love my old guy, but he's full-time with somebody else. Alan Cooper.
Who else needs a resource of something? Anyone? I got my resource in Sarah. She's going to help make order of all this COVID stuff. John, do you need something? No, that was him saying goodbye.
I got to jump, so have a good
Okay.
weekend.
All right, bye.
Take care. Bye.
Let's have a great weekend.
I have
Yeah, I've got to jump now to lunchtime.
John, thanks for calling in.
Thanks. Take care. Love what you're doing.
As the flies drop, one of my great calls to the close. But I'm going to stop this call and then start this call up again. And I'm just going to leave it open. And if anyone wants to keep me company as I do my work, you can keep me company, and just like we'll be cubicle buddies. See you later.
Like fun.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.